Hey everyone, thank you for joining me today. On today's technique video, I wanted to take a look at clay again, the paper clay. I wanted to make a couple of molds that I want to use for a possible journal, which I'll show you kind of towards the end. But these are the ones from Pima, and what's really cool about these is you can use them with food, you can use them with the epoxy. Um, what else? I think I've done a video on here using it with even like embossing metals. Like you would melt it and then pour it into the mold to get it to pull out. But we're going to use this paper clay, which I think I've done before too. Um, but what you do is it's really important that you keep this clay sealed tight so that way it doesn't dry out. And I just cut off little bits as I go, and you always try to work it, um, get it moving, warm it up. And then in whichever piece that you're using, I take the embossing powder, the static powder from EK Success that helps, the embossing powder not to stick anywhere. I use it inside the mold to make sure that the paper clay will pull out nice and easy. And then once you press it down into the mold, you just start to move some of the clay around to remove some of the extra, because sometimes you have more clay than you need depending on the size that you're trying to put in the mold. And on here what I'm showing, I had two different pieces, so I'm just pressing them together and warming up the new piece I got to lay that into the mold to move it around as well. And then once you have it pretty much pressed in everywhere, then like I said, you're going to do the same thing. Kind of rub your finger along this side, trying to clean it up and make it as close to the edge as possible of the mold. And I'm just using my hands. You can use, I think I've seen people use like gift cards to kind of trim and take the extra parts off. Use whatever works for you. For me, I don't mind my hands getting dirty, so messing with the clay. It's not overly dirty, but it does make like a chalky mess, which I have to, when I'm done with all this, clean up my mat. So we're going to do the same thing with this one, and I'm just going to do the one in the middle here and cut another piece of clay and get this warmed up. And actually the extra clay I'm going to wrap up and try and put it back into the package and then put it inside my Ziploc bag. And I'm going to take all the air out of it as I can, just so that it's a nice tight seal. And then later I can work on some more molds, because really and truly you can make a bunch of these up and just have them ready to go. Whenever you want to do a layout, you can add pieces to the layout, so that way you have added layers. And like I said, I wanted to have an idea for a journal that I'm working on where I want to use a couple of these molds. So I was like, oh well, I can just share it on camera with you guys, and then for when I'm ready to start that project I'll have them already done, because they do need time to dry. Once I take them out of the mold itself, I let them air dry the rest of the way. um, just showing you pieces. This one here, I had actually taken out and cut in half before it was completely dry. This one is one of the long ones, and I just used a little bit of distress ink to kind of show you how you can even make the stuff pop out. And then these three over here on the side, that clear one and the purple, those I use the embossing powder that it's like a melted powder, and you can heat it up in like a tin pan and then pour it into the mold, and you can color it, you can leave it clear. Um, so you can really use any medium. And I think that one came out super cute, and it's small. It didn't take a whole lot. Now this one is a little bit intricate, and once I got it started, I just kind of pulled the mold away from it, and then any little extra bits that are hanging out, um, I'm just grabbing my palette knife here and trying to trim a little bit of it off. Really, once you let it dry, those little pieces that hang off will kind of break off easily because it's not that thick. And then this one here, once I pull it out, there's a crack kind of in the top of it. I don't mind that. To me, it makes it look like it's a little bit old, like distressed. But it's really cool because you can put the smaller one on top of it. You can add layers. Um, Here's the book I'm probably going to be using it on. I just wanted to show you um, how you can add it to things, and then you'll add dimension or uh, how you could change the look of whatever it is you're creating. And these two, I thought would be cool to have one piece at the top, one at the bottom, and then you could put like a saying in between. Make it look like they're going underneath it. It's really cool what you can do with these. So here are some close-ups. Now, as they start to dry, it does turn a little bit more on the whiter side. These right here have like a little bit more of a almost like a beigey tint, but as they dry and are hardened, they'll get a little bit whiter. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. Make sure too that you go over to scrapbookingwithme.com, and anything that you guys purchased at the end in the coupon code, put TT15. That's TT15. So, and here are links to previous videos, and I hope you guys have a great day.